Hey everyone, Jim Spellos here again. Thanks for watching. I wanted to today introduce you to someone I'm lucky to call a friend. Charles Smith, children's pastor along with his wife Gail for New Horizon Church for over 30 years. Currently owner of My Health, My Mississippi, but from my perspective, we connected last year when we both took a Food for Life class through the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And I wanted to bring Charles on today for him to tell a little bit about his story and share with you what we both believe is incredibly important information. So, Charles, thanks so much for being here and taking the time.
Jim, thank you so much for having me, man. It's a pleasure.
Oh
Pleasure
my
is
God.
all mine.
So, where did you learn to cook? Who's your inspiration for
You
that?
know, my mom, growing up, I was always in the kitchen whenever she was in the kitchen, actually. So, yes, watching my mom cook, that's where I got the interest, the motivation to want to cook.
Isn't it amazing that we had that motivation from our parents, from our moms? I know when I was growing up, my mom was working a lot, but some of the stuff that she made is still, even though it's not the thing I eat anymore, has those memories that are so strong you can never get rid of them.
Well, and that's, Jim, so important that you bring that point up simply because food is so important in our life. And I tell people all the time, uh, the way we're eating now is a lot of the reason is because of what our parent taught us. And so when we know better, we should do better. But what we're leaving our children and grandchildren, think about it, is what our parent left us. Not just the genes, but also the diet.
Yeah, it's so true. So let's talk about your motivation. What motivated you to change to a whole food plant-based diet? Issues with your family health, perhaps?
What the bottom line was, Jim, everybody in my family was obese. I say everybody, my mom, my sisters, we all, well, I didn't, but everybody had high blood pressure. So it was almost like the norm to have high blood pressure, become a diabetic. These were things that was just normal. So that motivated me when my mom died at the age of 58 and a sister to die at the age of 54, another one to die at the age of 52. And I was like, wait a minute, something has to change here. Somebody has to break this pattern. I have to do something different if I want to be around with my children. Because if you think about it, in the 50s, that's early, in my opinion, to leave there. Sorry. And then when you think about what caused it, the food that we were eating brought about obese, and obese brought about a lot of the ailments that they were dealing with, like high blood pressures, like diabetes. So these are the things that I did not want to live with, and I did not want to leave them as a legacy for my children.
You make a great point. In the 50s is when a lot of the bad habits that we accumulated 20 and 30 years earlier really catch up. I had my stroke at 57. Until the day of the stroke, I didn't know anything was wrong with me. And then all of a sudden, I was sort of told otherwise.
That is all we know is what we've been taught, and not that anything is said. They don't tell us, oh, you got to eat this so you can become obese. But the food that we're eating will lead to that. That's almost the American way when we start and continue to eat that way and don't make any changes. And so that's how we end up 30 years, 40 years down the road, obese, blood pressure. And I tell people all the time, medication is not my destination, Jeff. I do not look forward to being on any medication. I'm not on any now, and I'm hopeful that if I can continue this plant-based diet, that I won't ever need any. And I think that's the thing we have to look at before we go to the doctor and they tell us that we have this issue. We ought to realize that food is the responsible medicine. Yes.
It so is. It's incredible. I'll tell you a great quick story that last week I was at my cardiologist and I got off not one but two more medications. And it's such a rewarding, unbelievable feeling to be able to go, I'm getting off the stuff that I thought I was going to be on for life.
Well, first of all, congratulations, Jim. And second, that's what everybody should look forward to. I say, if you do have high blood pressure, if you do have heart problem, yes, please take your medication, but don't let that be a path where you can do whatever you want, the way that you want, eat anything that you want, and not try to get off of it. We should always thrive to get better. And we've been taught to grow up, get a job, take care of ourselves financially, but we got to be thinking about how we can take care of ourselves health wise. And nobody really emphasizes that until we get sick. And a lot of times that can be too late.
And you're doing that right now by teaching the Food for Life classes. Are they going well? Are you having a lot of good feedback from people?
That's the exciting part about it with me, Jim. Food for Life, because it's show and tell. I'm not just telling people that you can have a better way of eating, and there is a better way of eating. I am also showing them, and so the classes are going very well. We're doing virtual, we're doing in-person classes, and yes, people are real interested in simple, easy ways to be healthy. And that's what Food for Life is all about.
And they're even more interested when the food tastes good, right?
Now that's the key. It has to taste good. So I say it's simple, easy, and it's quick, and it has to taste good. You and I know if it doesn't taste good, nobody wants to eat it, right?
So what's one final point that you want people to remember when they're thinking about transitioning? What's that one point you want to leave them with today?
I would say always remember your health is your wealth. And without it, without good health, all the wealth in the world means nothing. So put your health first and let everything else kind of follow that. Because if you take care of yourself, eating right, exercising, you'll be around a long time to enjoy the people who really bring you wealth, and that's family.
Wiser words have never been spoken. Charles, it's such a pleasure to know you, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate it, and thanks for having me.